you check the children? Show a little match
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird, and I'm here to do a review of a brand new release. We try and do these as often as we can. The only one I think I've missed this year is The Strangers, Chapter 1. Oh no, that's not true. I missed Night Swim a lot earlier. As you can see, I tend to miss the ones that aren't great, and yeah, maybe I should have missed this one. Let's be honest. This is M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, and I had high hopes, as I have high hopes for every Shyamalan release, because I'm a fan of Shyamalan's early work. Not the biggest fan of much of his later work. Wasn't a big fan of Old. I thought Knock at the Cabin was okay, but still underwhelming. I wasn't a big fan of The Visit, which a lot of people think was his last really good movie. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. So there's unfortunately, I think the Split series was the last time I was appreciating Shyamalan. And so I had hopes for this, because Trap, brings back Josh Hartnett in a leading role, and I'm a big Josh Hartnett fan, even though I've still never seen Black Hawk Down all the way through. I think I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never watched that movie. I really should at some point. Probably going to be better than this one. But yeah, Josh Hartnett is starring in this film, and let's just give my overall thoughts. If you couldn't tell, I wasn't the biggest fan of this one, guys. It was shot okay. I still have some issues with the way Knight has chosen to start shooting certain aspects of his films, but yeah, overall I think it was just a lackluster film. I think there were way too many, some people would say conveniences, but in actuality they're contrivances. There's so many contrivances in this movie that it's forced down your throat, that like, not only do you have to buy into the overall stupid conceit of the film, but you have to buy into a lot of shit along the way too in order to stay engaged in any kind of way. So yeah, I mean, overall I wasn't the biggest fan of this film, guys. I know a lot of our audience doesn't appreciate when we do negative reviews, but I can't slice to yous. So yeah, Trap was not my favorite. So just getting into it real quick, the story is about Josh Hartnett and his daughter, whom he is taking to see essentially a Taylor Swift analog, a pop singer who has a massive teenage girl audience. Josh Hartnett is trying to take her to this concert to be a good father and, give her a good day and good experience and core memories and all that good stuff. Unfortunately for him, while he's there, he notices that there's a higher than expected police presence, and that it's only getting more and more intense. And soon enough, he learns that all of this police presence is there because they're trying to catch a serial killer whom he happens to be. And so he has to try and figure out how he's going to get out of this. And, chaos ensues, but not really. Anyway, we'll get into it here. I'm going to keep it spoiler free, but frankly, because I don't think it's worth spending the time to talk about the spoilers. But yeah, so that's the story of it all. And so he's trying to maintain his presence as a father while also trying to figure out his situation as a wanted and hunted serial killer. And that's the long and short of the story. And there was nothing else that was added along the way that I think made it any more engaging. Like when we did trailer reactions to the movie, I thought it looked good. I was like interested in the idea, but I even said in the trailer reactions that the overall conceit is stupid, because the whole idea of there being like 1,000 cops there to try and catch one serial killer that they know is going to be in a mega populated event, I don't think they would do that, because it puts every innocent person in that event with that person at risk. They don't know if this serial killer is psychotic enough to start going on a killing spree because he knows he's cornered. You've cornered a raccoon and they're going to lash out. So I think the whole setup is silly to begin with. But to see the movie, you have to buy into the conceit, right? I mean, you don't have to. You don't even have to have seen what the movie's going to be about. You could just see that it's a Shyamalan movie and you want to go and see it, and this is what you get. So, yeah, the overall conceit is stupid. There's so many things that happen along the way that, again, I'm going to say this a lot. It was contrivance after contrivance. It was like he gets himself in a situation where he can easily sneak a police radio that he then happens to, well, I guess the radio comes with an earpiece, and he happens to put the earpiece in at just the right moment every time throughout the movie where he's hearing key bits of information. What in the hell? Why now? Oh my God. And yeah, let's send 3 different texts instead of just one text with 3 sentences. Love that. Anyway, yeah, it was contrivance after contrivance, stupid decision after stupid decision. Well, not really stupid decision after stupid decision, just convenience after convenience. Convenience equals contrivance, unfortunately, in this circumstance. But, he talks to one member of the staff for a particular reason, and it just happens to be a person that is a lot closer to the situation than he could have guessed. One staff member out of thousands in the whole stadium, and the one he goes to is related to someone that he needs to get in contact with, kind of thing. It's just so silly. And the dialogue isn't much better. Like, the dialogue is really silly at times. Josh Hartnett, I really liked as an actor in the film. I really think he did a great job with what he was given. Which was not great. Everyone else was just okay. His daughter was pretty good. I did like his daughter. And then, other characters that we meet along the way, they all did fine, but I wasn't really blown away by anyone because they were given a lot of silliness to work with. Let's get into the filmmaking of it. The filmmaking was fine. A lot of it was accomplished, but, let's be real. The whole movie is presented as a concert that this dude is trying to figure a way out of. You are shown the concert like from their perspective for the most part, so you don't get a lot of like close-ups while the pop star is performing and such. You get it mostly from the perspective of wherever the characters are, but the whole thing is, a little bit of an elephant in the room is that M. Night's daughter plays the pop star. And so a lot of the movie comes off as kind of like a music video presentation of, here's my daughter, isn't she talented? And when M. Night himself, may or may not cameo, as he has in many movies in the past, there's a lot of shades of that when you realize that that's his daughter. You know what I mean? And it's a bit much to be coupled with something else that I'm not going to reveal is a bit much. So it's weird to be faced with a lot of things that you need to buy into to enjoy this movie. And I just wasn't able to really buy into them. M. Night's daughter, I didn't really mention her much because she's kind of just set dress for the first 30, 45 minutes of the movie, and then she gets more to chew on. And unfortunately, when we get to that point, I hate to bag on any young actors or actress. They're all actors. But yeah, she's got some, she could stand for some experience. Let's just say that. That's pretty much the nice way I could put it. She was okay, but it was not necessarily the best. So anyway, all of that put together, the filmmaking, and getting back to the filmmaking actually, because as I mentioned, M. Night is starting to make some decisions, specifically with his close-ups. I'm not a fan of what he's doing with his close-ups. He's trying to be stylistic. Like in Old, there was a lot of instances where if this is the frame, right? Hang on, I gotta do this backwards. But if this is the frame, then he'll put someone like right here, and the rest of the frame will be completely empty, and they'll be talking to someone right here. And then the other person will be here and talking back, and then the rest of the frame is just fucking empty. And in this one, it's a lot of this at the edge of the frame, and still not a lot going on here. And then it's like this, and it's like still not a lot going on here. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why do I need 3/4 of an empty frame, Night? Why? Frame your fucking people up, please. Let me see their acting. Like, and don't make me think about the fact that they're so off-center just because. Because there's no story reason to have these things happen that I have been able to discern with your films, sir. I'm saying it like he's going to watch this. I'm just saying, guys, it really frustrates me Like, when the framing doesn't seem to have any particular reason or make sense, like, at least you can argue some things with the half frame, but not when there's still, or not when there's still 3/4 of an empty frame, in this case 4/5 of an empty frame. I mean, background shit that doesn't matter for a lick of damn. And so I was frustrated with some of those points in this film. Sound design was fine. There weren't any effects per se that I could notice. This is hardly, this isn't a horror movie. This is barely a thriller. Like, barely a thriller. So, you know, but it's Night, and we cover Night on the channel because he's always at least horror adjacent. And this was just, man, I was more frustrated with this than I thought I was. Like, I was enjoying it for the first, like, 40 minutes. I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out. All right, cool, cat and mouse, and we're following kind of the cat that's been cornered instead of, like, him chasing a mouse kind of thing. Like, that was interesting enough, and then it just takes a turn and goes a different direction, and you're like, why? Why? This is... People are making bad choices, and they wouldn't be making these choices in real life. And this is too much to buy into, right? Too much to buy into in this one. Too much. And I'm a big fan of a lot of his work. Like, I really am. Sixth Sense is one of my top horror movies of all time. Probably in my top 5 of horror movies of all time. He's so talented as a filmmaker. But man, he's been making a lot of choices recently that I just don't jive with, you know? And that's, you know, that's fine. That's still his choices, and I'm sure he's got reasons for it all. But as a viewer, I cannot discern what these reasons might be. And, you know, I like to think of myself as an intelligent film viewer. Sometimes I just, you know, do the turn off the brain thing and watch, but I try and think about things as I'm watching it. And as everything just kept unfolding, I was like, why? What? Why? What? What? No. Anyway, guys, maybe I'll just leave it there. Thank you guys very much for watching. You know, I'll still watch an M. Night movie when it comes out, but I get less and less encouraged with each passing entry into his oeuvre, so to speak. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on this movie in the comments down below, whether you've seen it or not yet. Try and keep it spoiler free. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.